Scaling your e-commerce brand isn't as difficult as maintaining that scale once you're at the very top, especially with Google Ads. So in this video, I'm going to show you 5 ways to start getting sales every single day to maintain that momentum and to stay at the top with your e-commerce brand for more consistency overall. So stick till the end. But with that, the first way to stay at the top and to maintain that momentum is to go after a targeted plus a broad level ad spend approach. Now, what most e-commerce brand owners do is once they start gaining some momentum, they start going after more and more and more cold traffic. But what they don't realize is that once they start going after too much of a broad traffic, the algorithm starts going after even the audience segments within this big pool of people, which may not be highly converting, which may not be the best level of audience. So this ends up really kind of messing things up. It messes with the momentum overall, and that's where you start to get that level of plateau, or you start to see your sales kind of dip downwards or profitability dip downwards. So instead, what I want you to do is I want you to go after a broad plus a narrow approach, which goes after a little bit of cold traffic, about 70 to 80% of your budget going after cold traffic. But at the same time, you want to go after a narrow audience, which is also cold traffic, but very, very specific. So for example, if you sell a specific branded product, let's say you're selling Amazon's baby diapers, that's the brand name, Amazon and baby diapers. To keep things broad, you would spend about 70 to 80% of your overall budget towards broad level keywords like baby diapers and just going after that segment as a whole. And then maybe 10 to 20% of your budget should be going after just the keywords that are associated with Amazon baby diaper, because it's a bit more narrower and you want to keep things a bit more strategic and straightforward to get quicker sales as well. Relying on just one type of audience or just one type of traffic source is never a good idea, especially with Google Ads. But this brings you to the second way to maintain momentum at a decent level of scale, and that is a mixture of smart plus manual bidding campaigns. Again, going back to the first kind of way, a lot of brand owners, what they do is they just start going after cold traffic like performance mags, they're gonna go after standard shopping only, and they forget that they also should go after a little bit more controlled approach with manual bidding, because although smart bidding helps with the expansion side of things, it doesn't really help keep things focused, because you will notice your performance max campaign start to reach this level of plateau where it's diminishing returns after a certain budget level, and that's just because it has probably exhausted your newer audience that you're targeting, and it's not really able to gain more sales from that audience as a whole. This is where manual bidding comes in, because now if you set a certain level of bid, maybe a super restrictive bid, now it's only going to go after the highest quality of audience within that audience you're targeting as a whole, and it can actually get more sales long term because of that, because now you have a campaign that's going after broad level audiences, again going back to the first kind of approach, but at the same time it's expanding your audience size. And then you kind of give a complementary approach where it's manual bidding and it's going after a very strategic level of audience, very specific. Now it keeps things steady, it keeps things flowing as you would want it to. So having a mixture of smart bidding plus manual bidding is very necessary. I'm seeing the need for this across a lot of the brands we handle under my Google Ads agency or marketing, which by the way, if you run a brand doing $1 million a year, you need extra help scaling to the next level with Google, go onto my website at yourmarketing.com and schedule a free call with me, and let's see if we can potentially work together and make that happen. But this brings me to the third way of keeping that momentum ongoing, and that is segregation of products based on pricing itself. Now, this is the easiest way to maintain momentum, because you want to understand every level of product you have, whether it's a $50 product or a $5,000 product, it's going to come through waves in terms of sales. What I mean by that is some people might consistently be able to buy a $10, $20, $30, $40, $50 product, but then the $5,000 product might sell 2 times a month. And during those 2 times that that product sells, maybe the $50 product stops selling for whatever reason during those 2 times. So segregation based on product pricing keeps things separate from each other on a broad level, on an audience level, because now the algorithm is able to give different level of attention to the products between $10 and $50 versus those between $50 to $500, for example. And if you segregate things out in their own campaigns, now the algorithm for both of these campaigns, they don't get confused with each other, they keep things separate from each other, and this helps with the scalability side of things, especially as you start getting into the higher and higher price point. Fourth, focus on better products. It sounds simple, but you don't want to just be selling the same product which has been working for the past 2 years. You want to find more products which are similar to which are already working the best. So for example, if you have a certain type of shoe that you sell, this is something that happened with one of the brands we handle under my agency or marketing, where they're a shoe-based brand, their one type of shoe, their one style, it was going out of style because the audience no longer was really interacting well with it. The quality was not what they expected, and as a result, sales were dwindling down as well for that product. So what they did is they just worked with their supplier to upgrade that product a little small bit, and now the new product style, because that also came with new images, it's working 10x better. We're scaling the brand once again. So just focusing on better products, just improving what you have, or maybe adding complementary products. This is one of the easiest ways to continue that momentum, especially with Google Ads. But the final tip I have, the final way of maintaining that momentum, is to create an ecosystem-based approach with Google Ads. Again, this refers back to the traffic and the audience you get within your ad accounts. Most brand owners will only go after either cold traffic at scale, or they will completely just go after retargeting from the start, and they won't even realize that majority of their sales are coming from retargeting. You want to avoid that, and the best way to avoid that is by going after an ecosystem-based approach, which focuses on retargeting plus cold traffic. Now, the best ways to do this is to, again, distribute your budget 70 to 80% going after cold only, 10 to 20% going after retargeting audiences only. You can force Performance Max campaigns to be retargeting only. You can force a standard shopping campaign or even a search campaign to be retargeting only. It's absolutely crucial if you want that momentum on an ongoing basis, if you really want to scale things on a consistent level. Again, if you run a brand doing $1 million a year, you need extra help scaling your brand to the next level, go on my website at yourmarketing.com and schedule a free call with me, and let's see if we can potentially work together and make that happen. But check out this video right here on a brand which we just scaled recently to multi-7 figures, a full case study using these 5 ways.